For a few episodes, the show was canceled after she tweeted this about former Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. Quote, you can see it right there, Muslim Brotherhood, Planet of the Apes, had a baby, VJ. Hallie Jackson is an African-American woman. She was born in Iran. Now, Roseanne rightfully apologized many times. Damage was done. The Roseanne reboot was canceled within hours of that tweet. Recently, on her YouTube page, Roseanne had this to say about her tweet, which we'll ask her about, and the controversy that followed. Take a look.
I'm trying to talk about Iran. I'm trying to talk about Valerie Jarrett wrote the Iran deal.
I know, but you've told me this 300 times. Do you know that
That's what my tweet was about.
I know. You've explained this literally 300 times.
I thought the was white. I thought the was white.
So such a short time ago, I sat down with Roseanne for her very first national TV interview since her show was canceled. We begin with part one. All right, joining us now, she really needs no introduction. Roseanne Barr is with us. Roseanne, thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
All right. You sent this tweet out.
Yeah. Actually, I was hacked. No, I'm kidding.
You're kidding. You haven't lost your sense of humor. You started out as a comedian. Well, I want to talk about your background and everything, but I want to get right to it. Muslim Brotherhood, Planet of the Apes, you're talking about Valerie Jarrett.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't. What were you thinking when you said that? I know you said people shouldn't defend you.
Oh, I just didn't want to get into the whole game of it. That is a political tweet. And, you know, I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I'm always, let's put it this way. I walked away in 2012 when I ran for president of the Socialist Party. And I saw for myself that it wasn't where my values were at, after all. And I began to read more and expand the little tiny bit of sanctioned news that I used to read. Instead, I started reading alternate opinions. I learned more, and so I corrected myself. And now I live, and I told ABC this at the beginning, I will always defend Israel, because I'm a Jew, and I also have family that lives there.
In Israel?
Yeah. So that is a tweet about asking for accountability from the previous administration about the Iran deal, which Valerie Jarrett is the author of, and that was what was in my head.
Okay, let's go back to, you do understand.
Now I do.
Did you not understand when you tweeted it out?
No, I was so shocked that
let me ask you, what do you understand?
Well, I don't understand a lot, to tell you the truth. The first thing was shock that they were saying it was racial when it's political. And that was a hard one to take. And then everybody started saying I was a racist, which is like the worst thing that you can call a Jewish person, especially one who, like me, grew up with Holocaust survivors. And at age 3, because of that fact, I took a vow to my God that I would always fight extremism on either side, right or left. And for a long time, I thought I was fighting it on the right by being really left. And then I just slowly woke up and saw that both extremes are not where my values are. My values are in the middle. And I believe that we have the right to ask for accountability for where our tax money goes. And when I ran for president in 2012, I ran as the representative of the Black Caucus of the Green Party. And they trusted me so much. Black people chose me. And I was humbled by that. And I ran on an anti-racist, you know, Clinton's drug wars, and what that means, that 1 in every 4 African-American males are in prison for pot, and lesser. I mean, it's just, I'm very informed. I'm not, you know, I've always been political. My comedy is political.
Do you see now?
Yeah.
What, in other words, what I guess I'm trying to ascertain, Roseanne, is that the reaction was universal.
Well, it seemed that way.
And, well, in many ways it was. What do you see about it now? I mean, in other words, I know you tweeted out apologies.
Yeah,
This is an opportunity to really talk to people.
Well, I've apologized a lot. It's been 2 months, and I feel that I have apologized and explained and asked for forgiveness and made recompense. That's part of my religion.
You said that to Rabbi Shmuley.
Yeah, because there's 4 parts of being forgiven in order to come back into your own good graces. And I was so sad that people thought it was racist. And then I went into the whole thing about the whole discussion of racism, and that blew my mind because it's so much a part of what the show I was doing was about. And I'm like, why can they not see my work? And then I got really messed up thinking, in this world, it seems as if words matter more than actions, but in the real life world, actions matter more than words. And my actions over 30 years as an artist and a comedian, I've always been against the abuse of power towards all marginalized groups. But now I feel like both the left and the right have marginalized the middle. And it's just too crazy. And the thing that broke my heart the most, I have to say this, is that I have African-American children in my family and in my loved circle.
In your immediate family?
Yeah, and in my loving circle, and Asians too, and Hispanic people. And Jews get around, let's put it like that. But I felt so bad for those kids because I love them, and I didn't want them to think of me like that, you know. And I know, and I was so sad, and I'm so sad that anyone thinks that of me, but I'm not that person. And I was going through a lot of a very hard time. You know, how would you like it to be sitting in a room with 25 people who think Trump is the worst thing that's ever happened to the United States? How would you like it? Could you do your job?
It happens to me every day.
Really?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that don't like what I have to say.
In your circle?
Oh, I don't know if you read a lot about Sean Hannity, but this isn't...
I do, but...
Here's what I really...
People that work on your show are like that?
There's plenty of people around here that disagree with every word I say and hate what I stand for. Absolutely. Disagree adamantly with me. But, you know, I signed up. I give strong opinions. And some people disagree, but I have no problem with people disagreeing. Here's what I
don't either. But that's what upset me so badly, because I like to hear all sides. That's how I form a story.
Oh, I have a whole list of stuff you said about Republicans and Catholics, of which, you know, both...
I've said it about everybody. Listen, I hate everyone equally.
But now, obviously you're kidding.
No, but everybody deserves to be joked about.
Here's what I want.
Anybody who's in any kind of position of power deserves to have a joke about them. And if they can't laugh at themselves, then that means something. If you can't laugh at yourself first before you start laughing at everybody else, that means something.
Isn't that how you started your career? By domestic guys?
Yeah.
And you poke a lot of fun at yourself?
I tell more jokes about myself than I do anybody else, because to me, comedy is very personal. That's what makes it funny. That's what made people like the Roseanne show, because they saw themselves in, or had an aunt, or, you know, their mom or their sister. Somebody in their family was, you know, a loud, outspoken woman who loved her family. And that was what I was so excited about to come back to television, was to show that that family is also multiracial and lives next door to Muslims whose ideas they don't agree with. That was what I brought to television and what kicked everybody's ass in the ratings, and they should be so lucky that they'll ever get anywhere near that. And they can't take that away from me no matter what's happened.
I guess this is an opportunity. There are a lot of people, Roseanne, that are not on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe haven't read your apologies.
Yeah, they're smart.
I can put, well, they're probably, are you off now, Twitter forever?
Well, my kids took it away from me forever.
Well, you could always get another phone. But here's, I think, a very important thing.
I did.
For those people, though, that, and I'll put up some of the apologies here that you have tweeted out, but there are still a lot of people that look at that comment and they think that they cannot believe that you didn't know better.
Yeah, I know, but I did.
But I want you to address that. Address those people.
You know, I made a mistake, obviously. It cost me everything, my life's work, everything. I made a mistake, and I've paid the price for it. But no, I did not know she was like a lot of Americans, including a lot of people of all types. They didn't know either.
I mean, I read that you said that you didn't, and you had this crazy video this week. What was
Oh, I was so mad. Well, I was filming this thing to, you know, my real apology, which followed it. But everybody was like, well, you're not addressing this correctly. And so I just lost it, and everybody started laughing. So I put it up there.
All right.
Because it was a joke.
Valerie Jarrett is watching now.
So she said she wouldn't watch.
She said she wouldn't, but she'll hear about it.
Yeah.
So my question is, I want you to address her. Because she was, and maybe not just her, but maybe people in the community that are so outraged about it. I want you to address them from your heart and tell them.
Here's what I have to say. Let's talk about it. Let's really turn this into a teachable moment. We need to talk about race and everything that's connected to it, including not knowing that someone who looks like me, her skin tone is like mine, and I'm brown. I didn't know she was African American. I assumed because she was, you know, from Iran and lived in Iran for such a long time, and writes about how she and Barack Obama hung out for a long time, and the reason they were so tight and such friends is because they don't like the idea of American exceptionalism. They like that, you know, every country has its own culture and we should respect them and this and that. And, okay, that's kind of a globalist way of thinking, but I'm like, I can talk to people like that. But I don't think a state that kills gays and, you know, stones rape victims, and is a brutal, where people don't even have drinking water and they have no rights, women have no rights. I don't think that is like America. America's not like that. America is a place where I, a loudmouthed, old, gorgeous Jewish woman, comedian, am allowed freedom of speech.
Is this the freedom of speech you wanted to use?
Well, of course, I look back and go, come on, Sean, get real. I mean, it cost me everything. No, I wish I had worded it better. But I'm not going to let them tell me what I meant. And that's what makes me so mad, because I know myself and I will speak for myself. And I won't have, you know, any people who don't share my culture tell me what I meant. And, you know, they've called me racist on the left for a long time, ever since I said the Jewish people have a right to live in their ancestral homeland. That's racism to them, to the far left, of which I used to be one of. But I don't want to be one of few. I want to be one of many, because I like the whole thing about America, that this is where we have a melting pot and we speak to each other and we unite and we get common things such as, where in the hell did our tax money go? I mean, where did it go? And how can a president just ship pallets of cash to another country without that going through Congress?
You didn't say this in the beginning. You didn't say this was about Iran.
I did, too. I'm on there every damn day talking about Iran for 10 years.
I mean, this particular comment about...
Well, are you going to take one comment out of a conversation?
I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying to give you...
No, I'm just saying, but that is what they did. And this was a continuing conversation about the rights of people in Iran to throw off their overlords.
I guess what I'm listening to you is, like I said, if you talk to Valerie Jarrett directly.
I would say this, Valerie, let's discuss this. Don't assume that you know what I meant, because I think you don't know what I meant, and I would like to make it clearer to you what I did mean. And I would like to find a way past all that to really discuss the issue at hand and to try to find common ground between us.
Would you want to say sorry to her directly? Would you like to talk?
Well, I have already.
Have you talked to her? You haven't talked to her?
No, I haven't called her because I was like thinking what would be the right thing to say, to call her?
Yeah.
You think she'd... I'm afraid she'd start screaming and throw the phone down.
Well, if I had her number and I hand her the phone to you right now, what was the first thing you'd say to her?
Well, do you? You want to do it?
No, I'm asking because maybe...
I'll call her if anybody's got her number.
Anyone got her number? No, nobody. But if you did, call her. This is, and I think it's the important thing. You're saying you want to talk about issues, and this is a bigger picture, a teachable moment. I would think the first thing you'd want to do, if it was me, I would want to say, I want her to hear my voice say, I am so sorry. And I know you've tweeted it, and I know you said it, but now that you have a very different perspective on the comments, I would assume you'd want to start there.
Well, I already have said I'm sorry for 2 months.
No, I know that, but you'd want to say it directly to her is what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah. If she was on the phone or something, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's not. But if she's watching, I'm so sorry that you thought I was racist and that you thought that my tweet was racist, because it wasn't. It was political. And I'm sorry for the misunderstanding that caused my ill-worded tweet. And, you know, I'm sorry that you feel harmed and hurt. I never meant that. And for that, I apologize. I never meant to hurt anybody or say anything negative about an entire race of people, which I think 30 years of my work can attest to.
Let me go beyond that and just talk about...
And plus, I tell her she's got to get a new haircut. I mean, seriously, she needs a new haircut.
People say that about me all the time, so I'm surprised. I would imagine you'd say that about me.
Yeah, I would.
Think so?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, anything particular you want?
Because I think your part, it needs to go over more towards this side. The part seems like it's in the middle too much.
Let me ask this. This also impacted, and I knew that you tweeted out, this was the biggest, I actually have the numbers, I think after they watched with DVR viewing, 27 million people. I mean, this is not...
Yeah, and of course I want to apologize to all of them, too, and say, you know, you've heard my explanation in the first part of this show, and I hope you'll try to understand me and accept my apologies for the part in this big misunderstanding.
Let me ask you, you also did it at like 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah. You
were on Ambien?
Yeah.
Were you drinking?
Yeah, I told you that. It was Memorial Day. I had 2 beers.
Just 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you take Ambien a lot?
I can't drink.
Do you take
2 beers? Mm-mm.
And there's a whole other...
There was a whole lot of other physical things going on in my life, too. Now, do you want me to talk about that?
Well, I've actually...
I actually have
read
it right
a lot
here.
about... Yeah, I just saw what you did. Okay. I've read a lot about you, and it's actually... I didn't know all of this.
Oh.
You have said in the past, you said once to Larry King that you suffer from multiple personality disorder.
Well, I don't suffer from it anymore.
You don't?
I enjoy it.
You enjoy multiple personality?
Now.
Okay. And you said that, well, you just do crazy things and you don't really know you do or don't want to do.
Well,
that's what happened in your life?
No.
Or?
Well, I guess it does if you're drunk.
You called it... do you get drunk a lot? Do you have a substance?
No,
abuse?
I
You also once said...
I'd love to develop it, though.
You'd love to develop an alcoholic?
Drinking,
You like drinking. You wish you could drink. You just said you can't drink.
I know. I have no tolerance.
I take 3 kinds of antidepressants every day.
Yeah. No, 2 kinds now.
2 kinds.
One's a blood pressure pill, so that's 3.
Okay.
I take an antidepressant and a blood pressure pill, and then I take some more antidepressants.
Then I read in the Seattle Times when you were out promoting your book, this is in 1994, your father abused you sexually.
Well, that I'm
Your
not.
mother psychologically, that you would cover yourself in ketchup, lie on the floor, play dead until little Roseanne cried. because of allegations your parents would deny their...
No, that's wrong. I put the ketchup on, laid on the floor for a joke, for when my mom came in and she'd think I was dead.
How old were you when you were sexually abused?
Well, now I have a whole different view of that.
You don't think you were sexually abused?
I think I was emotionally abused. And
you said your mother's psychological, your father's sexual.
yeah, everybody in my whole family's messed up.
Do you think you really, serious question, because you've said in multiple interviews that you had multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
So I guess the question then is, do you think that any of this plays into, like, I have some, you've had crazy moments. Let's just be honest. We'll call it what it is.
Well, you shouldn't call a mental health patient crazy.
Okay, you've had some very...
In fact, that's one funny thing that Tom Arnold said. Never call a crazy person crazy.
Crazy? Oh. And that's an interesting
But I have
story.
mental health issues. Yeah.
How are you... How bad have this gotten for you with that?
Terrible.
How bad? Tell people.
As bad as it gets.
You ever institutionalized?
Honey, that's like going to the beach for me.
Seriously,
I've been hospitalized a lot. Yeah, several times. Yes.
Do you think, in a lot of ways, I love comedians. I've watched everyone from Richard Pryor. I've watched Chris Rock. I watched every stand-up comedian. I watched you, and everybody. And it seems, and I might be way off base saying this, and if I am, tell me, that the creative genius...
You're way off base.
Thank you.
No, okay.
The creative genius for comedians, it's like their blessing is their curse. It's like they have this ability to be funny, but...
And being a creative genius.
No, I'm serious.
No, but I know I am. But anyway, no, but I am.
So you're a domestic goddess.
Yeah.
Understood.
That part of your psyche or brain is really close to the madness. They're very close.
When we come back, Roseanne opens up very emotionally, honestly, about her struggles with mental illness and more about this controversy as we continue. All right, more of my exclusive interview with Roseanne Barr. Do you think there are other people inside you with multiple personalities that actually speak and you don't even recognize it?
No, not anymore. I'm fully
How long
integrated.
Is that? You're fully integrated?
I fully integrated, and I was fully integrated at Stanford University about 12 years ago.
Was it a medicine that transformed your life?
No, it's therapy.
Therapy?
Like 20 years of it.
Look, you've had a lot of controversy.
I've done the work, though. I just have to pat myself on the back there. I wanted to get better. And this all happened to me when I was pregnant with my son. He's 23, going to graduate from college, very proud. But when I was pregnant with him, first I got pregnant. First they implanted 6 eggs, and 4 of them took. And I was like, oh, my God, I was at Planet Hollywood, and I told Bruce Willis, oh, my God, I'm having quadruplets.
Right.
Beat that for a headline. And I was so excited, but then I started to lose them, you know, and they put me in this thing where I absorbed them, my body absorbed, and there was only 1 egg left there, and it was kind of hanging, didn't know whether to come or go. So they did me on this biofeedback deal where I'd say, I want you to stay into this machine. It was...
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked, but the deep spiritual thing of that, it started to heal all the parts of me that were crazy and out of control.
I noticed...
Because I learned to focus, and I learned to meditate, and that helped me a lot with therapy.
You were very...
And medication.
And medication, and you said... and you really embraced
and
your
I had a
Jewish
great
faith.
shrink. Well, I've always been very religious since I was a little girl. Like, did I say this? That I grew up in a apartment building full of Holocaust survivors, and every Friday they would come over to my grandma's apartment. My grandparents owned an apartment building. They brought 50 or so survivors from the camps, and that's where I grew up. And every Friday they'd all come to
You had family that was in Auschwitz, and they had tattoos.
Yeah, they all had tattoos. And they would say terrible things to me when I was only 3, and they would tell me the things. And I mean, It wasn't too, it was too much for my mind to handle. And then they would make me watch the Eichmann trial, too, and I was only 3. They go, she needs to know it was little girls like her that they did this.
Was it on TV?
Yeah, the Eichmann trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that split me emotionally, deeply. It was a horror to me, and it still is a horror to me.
A lot of evil in the world.
Yeah, but there's so much love. That's what I was going to tell you, Sean, but you're going through all this trash.
I didn't even
Let me
get to
tell you
anything.
what. Oh, go ahead. But I'm going to tell you.
I want you to tell your story.
Sean. You've been a good friend.
I want you to tell your story.
I'm going to tell my
story
story
how you got on this
when
show.
I go outside now, I was so scared to go outside because I'm like, everyone thinks I'm a racist. You know, and I live on an island where it's all brown people. I'm like, oh, hell, you know. My daughter says every day people come in and they're like, we know who your mom is, and all these things like that. And I would go out on the street and people just rush up to me to tell me they love me and they don't think, you know, what happened was balanced to the other people that do worse things and say really mean things that aren't political but are just mean. And I'll tell you, it blew my mind because I'm like, man, I've never felt this kind of love from people. It has been overwhelming. It's just, I just thank them. I tell them, you know, if it wasn't for my fans, I probably wouldn't even be walking around. It was just devastating. To be misunderstood is the worst thing. And I want to sing that song. Oh, Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. I want to sing that because now I have a band. I've always wanted to sing.
I saw you sing the national anthem. It wasn't
Shut up. That wasn't good.
That was not good.
Did you see my follow-up, though? I bet you didn't because you're in the news. Oh. But I did a follow-up,
Beat the host
Sean.
up.
I followed up that.
You grabbed your crotch and spit.
Well, that's what the stupid pitcher told me to do.
Oh,
and they all are deserted like rats off a ship. But I was trying to make him laugh. He said, that'd be so funny. I go, okay, I'll do it.
Right. So
I did it, and it wasn't funny. And I learned a lesson. Never take comedy advice from a pitcher.
You really, it's important to you. And I remember when I first
I want people to like me. I don't want them to hate me. I like them.
You wanted people, this is what you said to me. You said, this is not me. This is what you said. The exact words you said.
It's not me. Not the picture
Then you said to me, you said, I want people to know who I really am. That's what you said to me.
I know.
So here's, you know, there's going to be a lot of people watching because you're here tonight. Tell those people who you are.
Well, I'm a creative genius. And this is not a good feeling for an artist to be treated this way. And it's not a good feeling for a citizen either. And here's who I am. I'm somebody who cares about civil rights. I reject what you call me. You call me racist, I don't accept it. I know who I am, and I'm not a racist, and the people who voted for Trump, they're not racist either, and Trump isn't a racist, sorry, but, you know, we just have a different opinion. We all want the same thing, though. We want people in the inner cities that are living in feces, and I'm talking about my son goes to school in San Francisco. I go up there. I don't just blab and run my mouth. I live my beliefs. I want people to know that. I live my beliefs. I try, and of course I fail, but I try. And I get back up and try again.
I don't want to interrupt you every second because I want you to speak in your own words, but yeah, listen, PC is sickening.
It is. It's not American.
You,
and
you said,
I started
you said I live around brown people. Like, for example, would you not say, why not say African-American people? Or
I live around African-American people, too.
Yeah.
I live in a real neighborhood. I don't live behind gates with bodyguards. I live in a real neighborhood of working people. I chose to do that.
You know, I was going to ask you about all these other past controversies, but you know what?
I've made a lot of mistakes. I live my life out loud. You know, I do it. When things are going too far right, I'm going to go a little left. And when things are going too far left, I'm going to go a little right. Because I will like balance in the middle. I like middle America. I like the middle way. I like the middle class. I like the middle opinion that balances two extremes. Most people in America, I think like that.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people, I think a lot of people misunderstand what motivates me. And what motivates me in this 2016 presidential election, for me, was about what we call the forgotten men and the forgotten women. You know, a lot of people don't know, and I've still, some people that watch the show regularly know, I was a paper boy at 8, dishwasher at 12, cook, busboy, waiter, bartender. I painted houses, I hung wallpaper, laid tile, framed, fell off a roof 3 stories doing roofing. That was decades of my life. And I never thought I'd be in this position. I'm very thankful for it every day. But those people, we had at the end of 8 years of Obama, 13 million more Americans on food stamps and 8 million more in poverty and the worst recovery since the 40s and a 51-year low home ownership rate. And he doubled the national debt and accumulated more debt than every other president before him combined. So it's not politics because Republicans are weak. They are pathetically feckless, weak, and spineless.
Well, I don't know.
A lot of them.
A lot of them are because there's only one party. Come on, they all golf together. They're not like on other sides. They're pocketing public money.
There are a few good people, not a lot.
Look, they're all taking the money. Every side, both sides, every place, they're taking the money.
It's a swamp. Washington, D.C. is a sewer. There's no doubt about it.
But that's our money. That's the people's money.
And Roseanne talks about Donald Trump and so much more as we continue. And more of my exclusive interview with Roseanne Barr. Look at you, and I look at your success. I mean, 9 years as, you know, a top hit show, and then to come back in this environment where there's cable and Hulu and Netflix and everything else in that environment, and you get this massive audience. And tell the story when this all went down with ABC. Which part? When they first called you, they had asked you, first of all, to get rid of your Twitter account.
Yeah, but I said to them in the beginning, I'm never going to stop defending Israel and the Jewish people. Right. Because that's me. I was raised that way, and that's how I learned, and it's very important to me. It's central to my life. Mm-hmm. So they said, okay. So anyway, I did what I did, and then they called me, and they said, what possible excuse can you have for this unforgivable and egregious tweet? And I said, what do you mean exactly? You didn't know? No. You could knock me over a feather when they said she was African American. My boyfriend saw it. I was like, what? I thought she was Middle Eastern. Anyway, well, because, you know. But is it wrong to say any comparison to... Compared to what? People, they've lied about my tweet from day one. Yeah. They said, she says she looks like... I never use the words looks like. You don't use politically correct terms. Like I heard you earlier in this... I'm not going to either because it's sickening. What do you want... Now that ABC has gotten rid of it, and America's going to hear you tonight... What is the future for Roseanne Barr? What do you want to have happen? For example, ABC is now kickstarting basically the Roseanne Barr show. Well, I walked away from that show. I just want to tell you this. Yeah. I walked away from that show despite the fact that I had a contract which protected me from if I got in trouble with tweets. Mm-hmm. It said that in your contract? Yes. And they didn't pay you? Well, we can't talk about that, but I was allowed under my contract to have 24 hours to correct any mistake. And I asked them to let me go on The View and their other shows and explain and correct that I didn't say what they were putting out there. And, you know, they said, no, you can't till the contract's ready, and that took weeks. Right. But anyway, I walked away. You felt bad about your staff. I did see that. I didn't want to cause anybody to lose their jobs. I'm for working people. And that one really stuck. And I was like, well, I'm not, I could fight this because they didn't give me the notice or the chance to correct. But I'm like, no, it's going to be part of the repentance. I'm going to just walk away. I want to ask you about that. You signed off on this reboot without you. What is it called? The Connors? Uh-huh. I think. Did you have to sign off on that to allow the people to work? Yes. You did? Yes. You were glad to do it? Well, I thought it was part of the, you know, what was put before me to do.
And you also...
I think God gives, what God puts before me, I do. I don't anymore try to argue or win. I just do what's in front of me.
Part of this to you is you said you want to make amends towards, I think it's recompense.
Yeah, you have to
That's
give
part
money.
of your faith. So recompense to you over
Money
this
is the
what?
action you take in the physical world to make
Explain
something
that, though.
better.
Recompense in this case is what?
Well, I can't say that because it's secret. You're not supposed to tell people what you do.
Just give us a hint.
Well, I did.
So people know. I think people should know.
Well, I told Shmuley. But, you know, I gave to several things. African-American things, yeah, which I do anyway, but I gave a little bit more. And colleges. And
to help people.
Yeah, because I've helped a lot of people go to college. And they can't get a damn job, and they're in debt, so they're not really grateful for me to do that. But I also have you know, I wanted to go to the poorest place in America and see how I could help there. Because, you know, the poorest place in America, the poorest place in the richest country on earth, let's put it that way. And I have 4 years tried to help families there. And that's Pine Ridge Indian Reservation and Rosebud Indian Reservation. And I kind of have, you know, I just expand my family. And when I love people, I take them in as, you know, I include them in my circle. Because family's not just about blood, it's about soul, you know.
I still don't understand. Did you adopt African-American children in your family? You said you have in your family.
Oh, no, I do. I have a dear friend whose son is my godson, and they're African-American. And, man, it was hard, you know. He called me right away.
What did he say?
He said, I love you no matter what you do. And I was like, but man, I need to be understood here. Because I never, I mean, I just have to say this. If people think, I'm saying it to them, if you really think that at the height of my power and my fame, I would go, black people look like, I mean, it's just, I wouldn't do, I mean, I'm not stupid. And that's what they keep selling. And now they don't even, after they misquoted the tweet for weeks, now they don't even include it, and they just go, Roseanne's racist tweet. And they just keep shoving it down everybody's throat. I love all people, let's say that. I love everybody. I include everybody in my circle. I put my money where my mouth is because I'm not a racist. And I decided that this was going to move me to do my own interviews on my own YouTube channel. And on there, I'm doing serious subjects and talking to interesting people who I don't 100% agree with, but we find common ground. And I think that's what America needs, and that's what I was trying to do on my show.
A lot more with Roseanne Barr straight ahead.